Today I have a cook and clean video for you. Let me pull up my notes. Hold on. You're okay. You're okay. Okay, so today I have a bunch of holiday type food I would love to make, and then I need to clean the shower. There's some little things like, maybe it's not little, cleaning the shower. I want to clean up my hot water teapot. I'll show you guys how I do that. With this time of year, we're drinking a lot, doing a lot of hot drinks, so the calcium or the minerals build up a lot on there very quickly. I want to try making some marshmallows for drinks, for hot chocolate and stuff. Do a sugar-free marshmallow. Okay, so I'm going to do a sugar-free marshmallow, a peach pie. My husband's birthday is coming up, and he requested a peach pie cobbler thing. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to try making some sweet potato casserole. I have some sweet potatoes I cooked up, and so I want to get those made into like a whole casserole dish. And maybe make some wassail. And then just sweep, clean, get things in order for the weekend. So, if you need cleaning motivation, maybe just put this on and then see if you can tackle some projects while I get some projects done here. Let me show you what we're working with. Okay, so I still have Christmas stuff to take care of. I was making bread. We need to empty the dishwasher. Don't we, Turkey? Yeah. Do dishes I made cookies this morning. I got yogurt going. More cookies. I had some tomatoes that were on their way out. These tomatoes were on their way out, so I stuck them in the oven to just kind of dry them out a little bit. I might make tomato soup with those. Then let me show you the shower, what we're working with. Okay, so we have a lot of scum buildup and soap buildup in the shower. Turkey just took a bath this morning, so I haven't yet. There we go. I haven't yet taken all his toys out, but you see that? All that, the pink stuff, whatever. I know that's terrible. Anyways, so yeah, just got to do general cleaning. Pull all the toys out. Huh, Turkey? Are you gonna help Mama clean? And yeah, you can kind of see it's kind of grimy. Anyhow, that's the plan for today. I have this like cleaning bucket that I like to just have on hand under the sink. And then I made a lemon vinegar cleaning solution a while back. So this is some with leftovers of that. So I'm going to spray things down, take the toys out, spray things down, let it sit, and then we'll start scrubbing on it. Because of the nature of my husband's work, he tends to shower almost on the daily, so a lot of the buildup was from kind of soap scum. I know it looks terrible, but it also had been a good bit since I had given the shower a good scrub down, so it was high time. See that grime down there? That's disgusting. Well, it's removing the scum, so that's good. They're starting to look a whole lot better. Now just to do the rest of it. So there's still a lot of scum. It doesn't seem to want to come off, so I'm going to use Barkeeper's Friend. I'm going to make a little paste with this and mix it up in here, and then I'll just kind of rub it all over and see if that gets it off a little easier. Just got a little bit of water in there. Hello. Now I'm going to mix this up and just start scrubbing. I'm going to try the tub and see if I can get the stuff off with using this now. So you know what it's like, you can tell when something's dirty when you go to rub it with like a cloth or something. I can already tell it's definitely helping it come off. So that's good. Just a little bit of elbow grease. And it's coming off. It maybe doesn't look dirty in the camera, but it is kind of, there's like a film of buildup, I guess. Yeah? Here. There you go. Here. Mama? Interested in a clean shampoo? Chernobyl Mama. They just recently put out a shampoo and it doesn't have, they say there's no sham in their shampoo. Anyways, I really like it. It has a very light citrus scent. It doesn't give you all like the suds that you would get from chemicals that are put in regular shampoo. But I definitely feel like it cleans well and I like it. So anyways, it's not, I don't have an affiliate link or anything, but I can link directly to the store if you want to see it. Well, that seemed to take a really long time, but that's all right. We got it done. So now on to the next thing. I don't know what it is, but you'll see in a second. Well, did any of you get any projects done yet? Any projects done by the time I finished cleaning the bathroom? I realized once I put it all together, it's gonna be super shrunk up and fast. But let's empty the dishwasher. Then I can wash the dishes, scrub them down and get them put in the sink, and then we can get on to our baking. Most of the time I turn the volume off for these sections, but I thought it would be kind of fun just to leave it on a little bit. Just some of the sounds of putting dishes away, cleaning up the house. So while I'm waiting for the dishes, while I'm doing the dishes, I'm gonna go ahead and get this pot going. It needs a good cleaning on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. You see the white? That's pretty bad. So I'm going to get it heating up and then I'll show you how I clean it. A little bit of water. Let's turn it on. So to clean the pot, I just took the boiling water, added about a tablespoon of citric acid. I learned this from another YouTube channel, a gal from, I think it was Japan. I thought it was super cool. She just used citric acid to clean with. So you just dissolve that in the water, and then I let it sit until I was sure it was dissolved. Then I took a metal scrubber, I don't know what you call it, thingy. And I used that to scrub it. It was pretty hot. The water was very, very hot. So then I grabbed a wooden spoon to use it to push it down into the bottom and corners, and the end result I was very pleased with. Alright, time to make some sweet potato casserole. This is a carb based dish. It could be for part of a meal or it could even be dessert. It's like so good. It's more on the sweet side. I emptied out my sweet potatoes. Darky is taste testing the salt for me. How is the salt? Is it good? Okay, and now let's mix it up. My little guy is at a really fun stage. I know a lot of people look at the stage he's in as just being horrible and a disaster and just like the kind of thing where they're like, if you can avoid it, you know, like the terrible twos. But I feel like he's at a point where he is learning so much. He's copycatting us, he's learning words, He enjoys sitting with me. Whatever I'm doing, he wants to be doing. If it's doing dishes, he wants to be next to me. And so it's kind of neat to think about how we are instilling things in him at this point, things that will last him a lifetime. And I guess it's just really important, and so it's kind of a neat time. I heard somebody refer to it as the terrific twos, which it is so much fun just to see him learning and picking up on things. So I definitely try to look at this stage as an important time in his life where we are teaching things. He's learning how to be a productive member of society, how to respond to authority, and just all those things. So it's certainly an exciting time of life, we'll put it that way. He thought he was having just a jolly time helping me with this. I had to kind of keep him out of some of the ingredients because he thought they were absolutely delightful. But he was a good help. I definitely have to go slower at times, and it makes things messier, but at the same time, if he can be learning and just be a part of what I'm doing, I take that as a bonus. If it weren't for how I was raised and how I've seen other mothers and fathers raise their kids, I probably would have a much harder time letting him do stuff with me. We actually have a book on raising little kids from when they're a baby. This gal shares routines and stuff, and when the kids are older, one thing she says is, keep them out of the kitchen, that's the mama's workspace. And for the most part, I agreed with everything in the book, but that's one thing where I was like, actually, I would rather have him in the kitchen with me, even if it's harder, and have him learning these things from when he's little, than keep him out so I can work easier. Maybe that's just my opinion, but that's kind of the attitude that I try to have when it comes to involving him in my work, so to speak. The next thing I want to make is some eggnog. Growing up, we like to have eggnog around Christmas time, and my husband's birthday's coming up, so we're gonna have some family here, so I think I want to make some eggnog. So I bought some creamy cashew stuff. So we're gonna use this. Apparently it's creamier if you use cashew milk, just plain unsweetened. So let me show you how I am going to throw it together. So for the eggnog, I actually haven't bought cashew milk before. So it was fun to get it. I was pleasantly surprised at how little fat there was for the amount of creaminess. I just might buy some in the future, I don't know, or maybe I'll just make my own. I do that with almond milk. But I thought it was really nice to have a recipe for eggnog that wasn't crazy high in fat. Like, it didn't have a whole ton of heavy whipping cream. So for my sweetener, you're probably not too surprised, but I use super sweet. That's kind of my favorite one for these kinds of things. I mixed up the cashew milk till it was kind of steamy and warm, and then I whisked all the eggs together. I have a friend who I get these from, so they're nice farm fresh eggs. They're awesome. Growing up, we had a recipe for eggnog where you didn't even cook the eggs. You would just have them raw, which I've heard is actually, don't come after me for this, but I read in a book one time where they would give like a whole egg to their kids each day. The kids would have an egg like in a milkshake or something. Obviously, you maybe wouldn't want to do that with store-bought eggs, but farm eggs, I was like, oh, that's an interesting thought. Don't worry, I'm not going to start doing that with my kids. Not yet anyways. But yeah, back to the whisking them up. So you whisk them up real nice and good, and then I'll let the video just play out so you can see. I will have the recipe for the eggnog and basically anything else that I make in the video. I will have a link for it or a similar link in the description. So you should be able to, if you want to make them yourself, you should be able to try them out. So basically what I was saying earlier when I completely went off on a rabbit trail about eggs and milkshakes, raw eggs and milkshakes, what I was going to say was growing up we would just put eggs in, blend it in, and then that's how we had it in eggnog. But this one, I figured with having other people over, I didn't want to serve them raw eggs. I was like, that might not everybody would appreciate that. So I did temper them. And the reports I got were that people did like it. So if you're curious, it was a hit. And I'm still actually enjoying some of the eggnog that was left over. So now this will go into this eggnog. I don't know if I missed recording the part where I added the eggs to the hot milk. I basically just poured some of the hot milk into the eggs, whisked it up. I think is it the temper? Is that what they call it? I don't know. Just to warm the eggs up, and then I dumped the eggs into here with the sweetener and then brought it to 160. So now this is basically the base for eggnog, so I'm gonna add about a cup of half and half to it when we're ready to serve it. But for now, I'm gonna throw these in mason jars and stick them in the fridge. Also, a funny side note, the only reason I have rum extract is for eggnog. That's literally the only time I use it. Once a year at Christmas time. Now you may notice there's nobody around me while I'm sweeping the floor. That's because it was nap time. And that's one of those things where it's just a little more productive, at least this particular day where I was like, I'll sweep the floor once the little guy's in bed. Then I went ahead and refilled my egg basket. Did you know farm fresh eggs that are not washed can last like 3 weeks on the counter? It's crazy. It's really nice for especially this time of year when there aren't a ton of eggs being laid. So it's nice to be able to get a whole bunch and then it lasts you a long time. Okay, wassail is one of those things that I kind of associate with Christmas. I don't think my mom did it a ton growing up, but as I got older, I had it more often around the holidays. And I thought it would be a fun drink to have for my husband's birthday party. It's super, super simple, and it's great if you want something like spiced and like wintry and holiday, just, to drink during the day. It's great. Plus, it makes your house smell really, really, really good. Like really good. So I made this ahead of time, and then I'll show you what I did here. Once it had simmered for a number of hours, at this point I had not added any sugar. So after letting it simmer, I strained it through this, I guess they call it a nutmeg. Anyways, I strained it through that, and then I added the sweetener. Somebody said if you add it when there's all the pulp from the cranberries, you lose a lot of the sweetener when you strain it. So I snagged a couple cinnamon sticks, and I should have really had whole cloves. I just did ground cloves, which that's why I had to strain it then with the finer strainer. Otherwise I could have just used a strainer with bigger holes. I don't know. Anyhow, so then later in the day, I strained it, and then I put the juice into the fridge to chill. And then the day of the party, I pulled it out and warmed it back up. Your mommy's good helper. Now for the jalapeno cranberry dip. This was an interesting one. I saw somebody else make it and I thought that would be really fun to try because I have lots of cranberries. I bought the cilantro for it. It sounded kind of cool. So I'll show you what I did. I basically just pulverized them. I wasn't sure how well it was going to work just because they were frozen and the recipe called for fresh. But I think I defrosted them, I pulverized them and threw them in the Cuisinart. My mom had one of these when I was back at home, and actually for Mother's Day, we, us siblings one year got together and bought her a larger Cuisinart. And that was honestly just because I wanted to use a bigger one, so I convinced everybody to chip in and buy it as a Mother's Day gift, which now, of course, I don't have access to because, obviously, I live quite a distance from her. But I love using it for things like this. Actually, if anybody sees Cuisinart parts at a thrift store, snag them. They're like expensive on eBay. And I would love to get, all I have is one attachment for it. It's that chopper blade. I would love to get a shredder or a slicer, I guess maybe you'd call it. Anyhow, I'm just happy to have this one. So now this will go into the fridge. The flavors can all meld. The juices will come out because of the sweetener and the salt. And then you spread it over some cream cheese and have celery sticks. You could do crackers, that kind of thing. So I think it's going to be really good. It smells really interesting. I'm not used to having the, whatever that was, cilantro with like cranberries and jalapeños and stuff, but I think it should be fun. So if I can, I'll try to get a picture of what it looked like and what people thought after the fact. But for now, it's going to go into the fridge. So to serve, I just put down a layer of cream cheese and then spread this over top and then served it with crackers and celery and that kind of thing. My husband had requested a peach pie dessert for his birthday. I was like, I had just gotten a new cookbook from Trim Healthy Mama, Trim Healthy Indulgence, and I was like, I could do like a German chocolate cake or we could do coconut cake, but he was like, he's really been enjoying peaches lately, so he was like, why don't you do a peach dessert? So I used from that cookbook their crisp recipe. Basically, you just take your fruit, whatever fruit you're using, and you put that in the bottom, and then there was a basically crisp topping that you put on top of it. So you'll see I did add in some white stuff there. That is glucomannan, and that's just a natural thickener. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't too runny. I kind of went the easy way by doing canned peaches. That's what we had on hand, so that's what I did. Then I mixed up the topping and stuck that in the fridge to warm up later. So I was gonna put this in the oven. No, I wasn't gonna. I was going to put the crumb topping on top of it, but then I started thinking it's gonna sit in the fridge for like a day. No, that's not what I was gonna do. I thought about baking it, but I didn't want it to get soggy in the fridge, like the topping to get all weird. So I'm gonna keep this separate. I'll throw this in the fridge along with the pan, and then the day we're gonna serve it, we'll pull it out and just throw it in the oven. So I think that should be a good plan. If you hadn't figured it out already, I knew I wouldn't have a lot of time the day of the party to do food prep, so that's why I did a lot of this stuff a little bit ahead of time. So I just pulled it out of the fridge. I let it sit out for a bit just to warm up, and then I put the topping on. Everyone seemed to really enjoy it. I served it with some whipped cream. And I wasn't sure that it was going to be sweet enough, especially if you're not used to having sugar-free stuff, but I got some pretty good reviews on it, so that was nice. It was an awesome one to do for a birthday dessert. This time of year I am doing tons of drinks, and especially like with holidays here, it's fun to have specialty type drinks, so I thought it would be fun to make some marshmallows. I hadn't done this since, I don't know, since Dirk was born or something. So it'd been a good while. And it's one of those recipes you want to get everything ready on hand ahead of time, like have all your ingredients ready to go, because there is a bit of a process to it time-wise. You start out by blooming your gelatin in cold water or room temperature water. I don't know if it really matters, but basically letting it thicken and everything. So I did that. You could coat the pan with powdered sugar or stuff. I could have blended the super sweet, but I just threw some of it in whole. So at this point the gelatin had bloomed. You can see it was all nice, soft and squishy and seemed pretty bloomish. And so I just added that to the pot with the sweetener, and then I got that going on the burner, and I dumped the egg whites into that bowl and got that going all at the same time. So to be honest, I had to do 2 batches of egg whites because the first time, I'm guessing there must have been some oil on the bowl, some sort of fat, because it did not blend. It did not whisk up at all. So I started that again, and it did much, much better the first time. When I poured the gelatin into the hot water, there was a chunk that didn't dissolve, but once it was time to dump it into the main bowl of egg whites, I used a strainer just to collect that glob of undissolved gelatin that had kind of formed into a hard knob, if you want to call it that. Sometime I would love to do marshmallows and maybe coat them in chocolate or something. They seem very fragile, and you were supposed to let them air dry, and I think I let them sit out too long because by the time they dried, they had shrunk significantly. But it still tasted good. So that's one of those things. Maybe it just wouldn't really work the best with this kind of marshmallow, but it's fun to be able to say you made marshmallows though. Well, there's the rest of the marshmallows. The marshmallow recipe. I'm gonna now let this sit out and just let it basically air dry. And stuff that's left over. This stuff, I'm gonna put that in my afternoon coffee. Well, I think that's almost everything I was gonna do today. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you were able to get some stuff done around your place maybe did some projects or did cleaning or cooking, and I hope you enjoyed spending time with me. See you guys later.